Dr. D. Padmanabhan, Chairman, GRD Institutions, Srimati Geeta Padmanabhan, Secretary, GRD Institutions, Dr. C.K. Kottavel Bharti, Principal, Dr. S. Agilandeswari, Professor and Dean, GRD Academy of Management, dear faculty members, students and members of the media. Very good morning to all of you. I am really delighted to be addressing you on this wonderful occasion when GRD Academy of Management is organizing this national conference on digital marketing. My apologies, I am not able to be present physically, but it's in the fitness of things that digital marketing conference should be addressed through a remote mode. So in that sense, I don't think we lose much. Let me start off with some simple anecdote. I think all of you must have heard the story of woodcutter who was cutting trees near a riverside, and you know what happened. So he lost his axe and he prayed to river goddess. River goddess came back, and then she said she brought a golden axe. He said, no, that's not mine. She brought a silver axe, and this guy said, it's not mine. Finally she brought his axe. So he said that is his axe. Appreciating his honesty, I think the river goddess was so pleased that she gave all the three axes to him. Of course, it has been now twisted in many different ways. I believe instead of the axe, somebody said it's a farmer who actually lost his wife. She fell in the river, and then apparently river goddess came and then brought Aishwarya Rai. And this time actually the farmer said that Aishwarya Rai is my wife. The river goddess was surprised. I mean, you are telling a lie. This guy said, no, I know your tricks. Now you brought Aishwarya Rai, next time you will bring another beauty, and then third you will bring my wife, and you will give all three to me. So what will I do with all three of them? So people have twisted the story in many different directions. But it has been interestingly also connected to computers. There was a software engineer working with this Pentium computer sitting on a treetop by the side of the river. Suddenly the computer fell down inside the river. He called the river goddess. So goddess came out and gave him a matchbox. This guy said, no, this is not my computer. Then the goddess gave a calculator. Then the goddess thought this guy will take it, but the engineer said, no, this is not mine. He was not satisfied with that. Finally she brought his Pentium computer, and he said, wow, that's mine. So he took the computer. But before the goddess left, this guy asked a question. Goddess, you are supposed to get a better product every time, right? I mean, the first product should be the best one, then the second the best, and least one you should give. But in my case, you gave me a matchbox and a calculator. Now, the river goddess said that you are a completely an uneducated, ill-informed person. What I gave you back first was a trillium computer. That is going to be the future. And then what I gave you next is not a calculator, but it was actually a millennium computer. And you missed out on all of that. Now, technology is changing. Now, if you want to understand e-commerce, if you want to understand digital marketing, I think you need to have a fair grip on what is happening, what kind of technologies are coming up. So it's not going to be easy. Sometimes it is better not to speak about that, and if you open your mouth, people will know that you don't know anything. And it's a tough thing to keep actually track of what are the new things that are happening. What I will do today is take you through the kind of developments that have taken place in the field of digital marketing. I think it was 1993 when I was in UK, and that was the time internet had just come in, and first time the graphical user interface was introduced. So the the scanning on the net actually became a lot easier. Of course, before that you had only the text-based kind of internet, which was a lot more difficult to use. And armed with that kind of experience, I came back. I was teaching at IIM Bangalore. So I organized the first program on e-commerce along with Professor Saragopan. He's an authority in the field. And two of us organized this program. He talked about the technology, I talked about the marketing applications. Of course, those days the pitch was on actually how you can use a website to disseminate information. And that was the key thing in most of our presentations. Those days there was no search engine, Google was not there. Those days there were no secure payment gateways, so there's no way you could actually transact on the internet. But of course, once all other things came up, I think things started looking up. Now, you might think today, for example, digital marketing means you have to talk about Flipkart, you have to talk about Snapdeal, or you have to look at Amazon. It's not true. It was the government which started this revolution in a big way. I must say, for example, the first of the application started with the railways. And those days, when I studied in IIM Calcutta, if you had to come back from Calcutta to home, you had to reserve tickets, manually. There were no actually online reservation systems. So what you normally do is you take your reservation slip, keep a 10 rupee note under that, and then show the counter clerk, Dada, ticket aache. Do you have a ticket to Chennai? So he will take the thing and then slide it, and the 10 rupee will fall into his drawer, and then he'll say yes, yes. Now if you don't keep it, he'll say no, nothing is there. Now that kind of a situation today has been completely transformed. You can sit at home, book tickets from anywhere to anywhere. There is so much of transparency that has been brought about by the government. And of course, governments again took a lot of initiatives as far as government to purchase, government to business, or business to government kind of purchase situations. Today, for example, most of the purchases are done through e-tendering and e-bidding, and most government offices use actually the digital tools for actually making purchases. And of course, today, thanks to the introduction of Aadhaar, now you can see, for example, even LPG gas subsidy is actually routed through, Aadhaar-linked bank accounts. Now, this has forced a common man to link his account with, for example, Aadhaar. And also, it is helping the government to eliminate duplicate connections and hoarding and a lot of other things. And of course, very soon you will find that, all our voters' ID is going to be linked to Aadhaar. So once that happens, I think very soon we'll have the digital democracy. So there could be e-voting. Now, voting can be on any issues. So it need not be done only when, for example, elections happen. So anytime there is a major issue being debated in the parliament, the government can take a referendum and then get the views of the people. And that's how the whole thing happens. So the government is definitely a pioneer in this field. They have invested a lot. And of course, the private has also gradually moved up. So the private players typically used, for example, internet to keep their websites. It was kind of considered as a promotional tool, additional communication device, additional way to kind of disseminate information about your products and services. But slowly, with the secure transaction, secure payment gateways and other things, e-commerce has actually taken off. And the first of the things that moved in were actually the ones where there were huge lines, waiting lines. So all the businesses that had lines went online, so that you need not come and stand in a physical line. If you recall, for example, Satyam is one of the early organizations to offer tickets through internet. So one could book your ticket online. Now the beauty of this is that, for example, you could select your seats. where you want to sit in the movie hall. And so it was a tremendous success. And of course, following on the lines of railway reservation, the bus company started taking the same option. Now there are many sites, websites where you could actually reserve your bus tickets. But gradually, every company started coming into this online space. Whether it is Chennai Silks or Pothys or any of these retailers, they also decided to have a presence in the internet space. But of course, still the major purchases of these companies are done through the physical stores. The brick and mortar still is dominating. But then, there are limitations. When you have actually the shops and stores in big cities, what about these people in smaller towns, people living in remote areas? Now, that is where actually these newer entrants like Flipkart or Snapdeal, they are able to score a point over these pure brick and mortar companies. And today, a lot of their sales comes from these remote locations, small towns and other places who cannot travel to the big city to buy the products of their choice. And of course, today it has completely transformed the way actually, we buy. So the entire, shopping activity is completely changing. Today, for example, when you want to buy a pair of shoes, this is a real story. I was in Delhi, I was looking at a store. I liked a particular brand of shoe and it was wonderful. Now the price was 7,500 rupees. Now I called up my son, I said, I find a good pair of shoes here, can I buy it? He said, no dad, tell me the brand name and then give me the size, some details inside the shoes. And then within 5 minutes, he said, you just come back. Before you are back in Chennai, you will have the shoes ready and it is 4,500 rupees. Now look at the net savvy youngsters. So they are able to, for example, look at various sites, scan, search, find out where it is available at the lowest price. Now similarly, if you see, for example, people buying mobile phones or a car or whatever it is, they consult the reviews, they consult the testimonials posted by these users, and there are experts who give their views, reviews and other things are happening. So without consulting that, nobody makes a purchase. So that competition is just a click away as far as e-commerce is concerned. So you have to have the best of the products, you have to make them available at the lowest price, otherwise they are going to actually search elsewhere and then go away. But from the marketer's point of view, how does it help you? It's pretty interesting because as a marketer, I can track every customer who comes onto my website. So the point is, a person comes in, looks at the product and then goes away. And then after 10 days he comes back, again looks at the same product. Now there are, for example, items like jewelry, gift items, etc. People don't buy it right away. On an average, a person will make 10 visits before he could make the purchase. Now, on the internet space, it is possible to stay in touch with the customer during his entire, decision process. You can provide additional information inside. How do you do that? Through the cookies. Now, it's called remarketing. If somebody goes and actually looks at the product and then goes away, then I know actually through the cookies, anytime he goes to any other website also, I can still serve my ads at him and then make him come back. You just go to any other travel websites and then search for the price of tickets from Coimbatore to Mumbai. Don't buy the ticket, come out. Next half an hour, whatever site you visit, you will find that prices from Coimbatore to Mumbai slashed. This is the rate, please come back. You will see the ad flashed at you. That is the kind of a targeting that is possible today. You are able to very, very precisely target the customers, remarket the product, get them to come back. And of course, today what is happening is that it's not only in a physical, not only in a retail store, digital store that is possible. Today they are trying to mimic all those things even on a physical store. So technology is now coming into the physical stores also. Now there are stores where, for example, they are experimenting on this RFID enabled tagging system. So you walk into the store and then there is a RFID tag on every SKU, small item stored in the store, and then you have your RFID tag. So basically it will track you completely. And it will tell, for example, the company where all you are going, what all you are looking at, what product you picked, what product you dropped back before you check out. Now all that kind of metrics, all that analytics that are possible on a digital store are also possible today on, for example, your physical store. Slowly physical stores are also starting to use those kind of technologies. So in my view, basically there is not going to be a separate e-business. In my view, every business is an e-business. Now if you want to be successful, I think you have to employ technology. You have to bring in that. Of course, don't forget the essence of all these things. You have to provide customer satisfaction. You have to provide value to the customers. Let me end with a small anecdote. It's all changing, and each one is taking pride. India claims that we have the largest number of internet users. China has largest penetration, and we have overtaken USA, and all kinds of talk is happening. This is a small joke about how people boast about each one of them. For example, this is about a Chinese and an American and an Indian. So three of them met, and they were each boasting about their country, that we are most advanced in internet, e-commerce and other things. So Chinese said that, what are you talking? So we dug 1,000 meters into the ground and we got copper. So our ancestors, even 2,000 years back itself, they were using copper wire for transmission and communication. And the American, did not want to be left behind. So he said, no, we dug the 5,000 meters and we found, the fiber optic cables underneath. So he said that our people used even 5,000 years back fiber optic cables. Now this Indian, listening to these two conversations, he said, what are you talking? We dug 10,000 feet, we didn't find anything. We used Wi-Fi even 10,000 years back. Now it could be a kind of a joke, but the reality is that India is marching ahead. We are moving way forward as far as technology is concerned. I am pretty sure that conferences like this will help promote the idea of e-commerce, digital marketing, technology adoption in the country. I congratulate the GRD management for taking this wonderful initiative and wish you all the best for the conference. Thank you very much.